Our reporter Samkele Maseko was there at that particular briefing. Samkele, that briefing taking place almost about exactly the same time that the president started his address as he jets off with that investment team to London. Let's perhaps begin with the two issues that Jesse Duarte spoke about. In a moment, we'll touch on the Supra Mahumapelo matter, but let's begin with what she had to say around the allegations posed against the ANC Women's League, where it concerns the late Mama Winnie Mandela.
Well, Kathy, if you'd remember last year, there was a term that was coined called mandashing. So the ANC basically this afternoon mandashed on their own statement. When they released a statement through their spokesperson Pule Mabe and their DIP, they said that they are setting the 11 women or then ANC Women's League ANC members, your Lindiwe Zulus, your Nkosazana Dlamini Zumas, and your Nomvula Mukwanyanes would be setting the record straight that they did not resign during the presidency of Mama Winnie Mandela of the Women's League, so calling her a convicted person. But Jesu Duarte coming out and saying that they found it fit that those particular individuals who now sit in the ANC's highest decision-making structure, the National Executive Committee, and some sit like Nomvula Mokonyane in the National Working Committee, which is sitting today. They better not respond on these allegations being made against them. Rather, the ANC itself come out and speak on these issues and not respond on the allegations brought forward by the Economic Freedom Fighters President and CIC Julius Malema at Mama Winnie's funeral over the weekend on Saturday. But they say they are speaking on these issues. She does confirm that indeed they did resign from the National Executive Committee of the Women's League, but this was way before Mama Winnie Mandela was convicted of any charge that was brought against her in the court of laws. But she does say they did resign, but not on the allegation that they did not see Mama Winnie Mandela as being fit to lead the then ANC Women's League, which was under her helm.
In terms of what this means then going forward, have they provided a time frame about when exactly then they would address these issues? Because they certainly weren't under any obligation to issue that press release, which specifically said that they would be responding to the allegations raised at that funeral.
Well, Kathy, as I said earlier on, they have basically mandashed on their own statement. They did not fulfill the mandate that they had set out for themselves, which was to respond on this particular allegation. I've received information from particular personnel within the building here at Luthuli House that they backtracked on that decision after some consultations with some prominent ANC leaders. You'd understand that the National Working Committee is taking place today from this afternoon around 2 o'clock. It's still in session now. The matter may have probably been discussed after the press release went out that these particular individuals who sit in the ANC's highest decision-making structure, the NEC and some in the NWC, must not go out and speak on these issues. The DSG, Jesu Duarte, is saying that the nation is still in mourning and these issues cannot be taken up in a negative light within society, so they don't want to be engaged in any bad public spat within the public domain. They are still mourning the death of Mama Winnie Mandela, but the essence of it all is that the ANC Women's League, or those women, particular leaders within the ANC who were in the then Women's League, basically mandashed on their own statement that they had issued out through their national spokesperson within the ANC, Pule Mabe, and are no longer speaking on this issue, but are waiting for an appropriate time frame, which they say they will then speak on these issues. But indeed, Jesu Duarte did say that they did resign from the Women's League, but way before Mama Winnie Mandela was convicted of anything by the courts of laws.
All right, Samuel, another story that they did speak about too, which we're going to be watching overnight going into tomorrow, is this motion of no confidence that the Northwest Premier Supra Mahumapelo will be facing. What did the ANC have to say about its deployee in that province?
Interestingly, Kathy, knowing the ANC, and particularly over the past few years, they would come out with a very stern statement and stern, firm stance that any of their deployee must not be voted out in collaboration by their MPLs or their MPs with the opposition. This time around, interestingly, the DSG says that they will be descending down to the Northwest Province in Mahikeng on Wednesday, regardless of what happens with that vote of no confidence tomorrow. The key word here being regardless. There is no firm stance that the ANC MPLs must not vote with the opposition, but seemingly it looks like ANC MPLs will be voting with their conscience, that may be, because there is seemingly no firm stance from the ANC that they must not vote with the opposition. Earlier this afternoon, ANC convener in that province, ANC member Obed Papela, descended down to the province to talk to the ANC caucus to find out what are the issues are. We are yet to find out. In fact, after this, we will contact our various sources there and find out what was the decision of the caucus. But I spoke to one of the MPLs earlier on today. He said that if the ANC caucus reaches a decision that they will be defending Premier Supra Muhammad, then they will have to look for another decision or another alternative of what they will do, because they will seemingly not be supporting Supra Muhammad to be keeping his position as the Premier of the Northwest. But the ANC is saying that the national officials and some of the NEC members will be descending down to Mafikeng on Wednesday to speak to the ANC caucus, to hear their grievances, and also speak to various ANC structures in that province, such as the PEC and the regions.
All right, Samkele, that's where we leave it for tonight. Samkele Maseko, he's out at the headquarters of the ANC in the Joburg CBD. That's Luthuli House for us.